Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Hamzah Shalchi today, who's going to be talking to me about financial advice in the Middle East and how it compares with the UK. So Hamzah, lovely to have you here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining me. So firstly, how did you wind up working in the Middle East as a financial advisor?
Very, very randomly. I actually met at a social event a director of the company that I ended up working for about 10, 11 years at a social event. And he asked me at the time if I'd ever thought about doing wealth management, financial advice, which I hadn't as a 22, 23-year-old. That's not the kind of thing that I always wanted to work in money. I just didn't know the route to get into money. And having left school at 16, it was a very different way than most to getting into financial services. And the director of this business was based in Qatar. And it was a very exciting time to go to Qatar because it was, at the time I was there was 2010. So I went from 2008 to 2010. And in 2010, Qatar were granted they'd won to host the FIFA World Cup.
Oh, nice.
So it was a very exciting time in the Middle East, and it was a very exciting time for me to go over there and work in wealth management because they had huge projects on their hands to deliver within a 12-year period. So they started recruiting, obviously, a lot of expats to go in and deliver those projects. So that's how I initially got into it, yeah.
And in terms of the qualifications that you need to offer advice in the Middle East, what are those like, and do they vary between the different countries as well?
Yeah, so they've got a number of different regulators in the different countries. So, for example, in Qatar, it was run by the Qatar Investment Authority, which to give financial advice in that jurisdiction, you had to have a minimum of a level 4 UK qualification. So it was very similar to the UK in that sense. In Dubai, it was literally like you didn't need to be qualified, you didn't need to have any experience. It was just, there's a couple of brochures for the things that you can sell, off you go and sell them. There was no actual lifestyle financial planning involved in that. It was, chuck a load of whatever at the wall and hope that some of it sticks kind of mentality. Which was, it was interesting to see, but also it was a bit disappointing to see as well. And a lot of firms, in the time that I spent there, a lot of things changed in that time. It adapted a lot. I would say it was a few years behind the UK, but things started to progress. In the UAE, you had 3 different regulators. It started off as one, and then you had the Insurance Authority, you had the Securities and Commodities Authority, and you also had DIFC, so the International Financial Centre.
And so in that sense where there wasn't very much regulation, how does that impact the client experience of the financial advice that they're given?
The experience is, well, 2 things. One, because there are so many advisors in the Middle East essentially trying to sell these products, the respect for financial advisors, because a lot of the business used to be won through cold calling, it developed quite a bad reputation towards financial advisors, unqualified salesmen, no real care about what was happening with the client was the reputation that they were given. And that was always very difficult to break that barrier. There was a barrier with financial advisors that you had to try and break through and ultimately try and win your client through a sense of trust and relationship building and stuff like that. And often the job of a financial advisor would be going in, especially in the earlier days when there was zero regulation, was firefighting. There was a number of times that funds were frozen and clients' money was illiquid. There was surrender penalties on policies and stuff like that. And you'd be going in straight on the back foot trying to win a client over who unfortunately lost a lot of money in very, very poor investment choices from previous financial advisors. And a lot of people who have met a lot of these financial advisors actually say that they're not financial advisors, they're essentially salespeople because they're going in to sell a product. And Dubai looks like, in terms of financial services, it's painted this picture of the land of opportunity for financial advisors, but so many people go there and so many people fail. People have started to delve into a fee model a bit more. They're starting to see that the model in the UK is much more beneficial in the long term because a lot of businesses don't really hold a value as such because they work on an indemnified commission policy. So there's no real value to a business that is just running off indemnified commissions, going out and selling things, because where's the value in it, you know? So a lot of Middle East businesses are starting to pick up the fee model. I feel like the regulator is starting to get a grip on things, but still only regulating businesses as opposed to individuals. So
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of places overseas could start to hold individuals accountable for what they do as opposed to just holding the businesses accountable, because advisors can move from business to business very, very easily. And it's quite a cutthroat industry out there as well. Like, it's very, the competition is huge and it's very, very cutthroat. So you'll have certain companies paying thousands of pounds for an advisor to join them, and they may leave a mess behind with the old company.